We have some information that we just broke on the website about Kim Kardashian and the robbery. And it seems like the centerpiece of all of this, the person who is the key witness in the case, is the concierge in the apartment who let the robbers up to the floor where Kim was sleeping. And the concierge's movements became kind of interesting. And he is a very relevant person who was the first one to see the robbers, and apparently the last one as well.
You could say the concierge could hold the key.
Well, and like you said, that's true.
Really good.
Well, he literally held the key.
Merci, merci.
So it was actually one of those cards. Sorry.
Right, right. It's a card.
Yeah. So here's the list of things, Harvey, that the reason he's relevant. One, like you said, he was the closest to those guys. According to the way Kim described it, they handcuffed him, brought him up. He let them in the door of the apartment. The elevator, you have to get a card access. Then let them in the door of the apartment and led them to where Kim was. And then apparently he stayed in that apartment handcuffed and was able to listen to the entire thing. Now remember, he is French, but knows English. The robbers didn't know English, so Kim couldn't interact with them a lot.
So he was the only one that could understand everything.
He was the only one, right, that understood everything. And Kim told police, which is weird, but told police that when she obviously knows the concierge of the building and started asking him questions in English like, "Are we gonna die?" And apparently, in oddly calm manner, he just said, "I don't know." And she thought it was weird enough to mention it to police that this guy was there. Now, the second odd thing that happened is that, remember, the way that the police report is spelled out is that they found him, his hands and feet bound in the lobby, which means they took the concierge back downstairs. Which, to me, and now I'm not a professional jewel thief, but if it were me, you would think that you would throw, you would throw that guy in the tub with Kim and leave them all there once you get what you're looking for. But for some reason, they took him back downstairs.
It is weird because he's a hostage like Kim, and why take him down where he's got easier access to the world at large, where you can blow the whistle. Yeah,
someone's gonna find him sooner. Like, you leave him up.
If he's in the apartment, if he's in the apartment, nobody's gonna find him until somebody comes home. He's in the lobby. The first person to come in the lobby is gonna see the guy.
Right.
So it's weird to take him from the apartment, which is upstairs,
back
down where the robbers become more vulnerable in terms of getting caught.
And I want to be clear, guys. We spoke to police about this concierge, and they are saying he is no more of a suspect than anybody else that had access to Kim, to the room. So, but they are telling us, look, including the concierge, they are trying to get cell phone records of everybody that was around Kim, that including her own team, her own family, to see if they can figure out who may have been talking to who about their comings and goings.
And at what time, certainly.
And what time, exactly. So, I don't know, it's interesting because you haven't heard from the concierge. You would think this is somebody that a lot of people know there. I'm waiting for somebody to either interview this guy or see him to kind of hear, how did it look and sound to you? And that's why, like we said, he's a key witness for the police.
And meanwhile, the police are scrambling to figure out who the heck these robbers are that were so bold and so precise in terms of what they did. There are reports in Europe that there is some surveillance video, kind of a bank shot off a mirror, where you can supposedly see them fleeing. There was a nearby shopping center right across the street from where they allegedly made the getaway, and through that mirror you can see the reflection of them walking away.
A shot of the mirror, and hopefully they're hoping they can get just a little bit of the shot there.
That's right. And on top of that, look, this is just blocks from the presidential palace, and France right now is on high alert, but they have a lot of video cameras everywhere in Europe. It's a thing. It's a thing everywhere now, increasingly. But we're getting conflicting stories on whether there is actually video of this event. I have to tell you, based on everything I know about security in Europe,
there's a shot somewhere.
There's a shot somewhere. I mean, they have.
I guess the question is whether or not they have somewhere. Well, they still have their masks on.
Yeah, but they're not going to run down the street with masks on. Right. That's the thing. I mean, then you might as well just say, "Catch me."
Well, there's even, I don't know if you guys mentioned yet, but there's these cigarette butts outside one of the entrances. They thought that they came out, that they're analyzing for DNA. They thought they were sitting around smoking.
Well, the only way you're going to be able to tell if that DNA is useful is if they have a criminal record and they've already done a DNA test. They don't do DNA tests on everybody in France. So that's
going to be
long shot.
Yeah.
But the cameras, I got to say, I would be shocked if there isn't some camera that picked them up.
Hi guys, it's Carol from Colorado. I just wanted to comment. From what I'm reading on this, the concierge seems a little bit suspicious to it because, I mean, what kind of robbers take a hostage and then take them from where they've tied them up down to a safer spot? It just doesn't really make a lot of sense to me. I mean, I hope for Kim's sake that the concierge isn't in on it, because that would just really suck to have, like, someplace that you trust go against your trust.
Yeah,
you know?
we don't know. Look, we don't know whether what the status is of the investigation.
They don't have any suspects.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think they have any suspects right now. And again, I do think that the video is going to hold the key to this. And I just think that if it's this close to where the president of France lives, and if it is in this high-profile area, there are police cameras somewhere that are going to help them.
Right.